Okay, I believe this is a Traxxas 4TEC 110 scale electric powered touring car with a 20 turn brushed motor. Nickel metal hydride battery is going sideways here, and that tells me that this is probably a car from the 1990s when Tamiya used to put the batteries that way in their TA series of touring car. Now, some interesting features here that are quite different from Tamiya, which makes me think maybe this is actually newer than the 1990s, maybe it's 2000s. So belt drive and these universals here makes me think that it's quite new, but then you see things like the speed controller, manual speed controller with resistor. That makes me think it's quite old, from the 90s. Also, it's got an AM radio, so I'll definitely have to research if this is 90s or 2000s. I can see the crystal is missing from the AM receiver. It's got a really huge servo saver over there. It's almost touching the ground. These springs seem to be quite dead. That's bottoming out really quickly. But overall, it presents nicely. We've still got a good spur gear. I assume there should be some foam on the front there. Yeah, really good to see the old mechanical speed control. I haven't had a car like this since my TA01. But even then, back in the day, the first thing I did was put a Tekin Formula 1 on it. I lost reverse, but that didn't bother me. When you go to a triple modified motor, triple turn, you don't want to have any scotchy diodes on your motor if you're using reverse anyway. So I'm keen to get this running. Not sure what's wrong with it, don't know much about it, don't know what type of diffs it has. I assume they're gear, but it looks a little bit small to be ball diff, so just assume it's a gear diff, which was also very popular back in the day. Looks like it's all there, just missing a nice body. We'll see what body we can find for this. Traxxas 4TEC, the original one, version 1.0, 110 scale, 4-wheel drive, electric powered touring car with a mechanical speed controller that uses a resistor. Alright, so we've got the original Traxxas 4TEC version 1.0. I've managed to find an iCAD battery with a Tamiya plug. I've charged it up, and I know it works fine because I've tested it in a different car. Now, we do have the original Traxxas radio, but just before we go and put the batteries in here, the terminals are all corroded. So we'll just use the Hobeo, which is a rebranded, probably a Futaba anyway. I noticed that HPI uses the same one, so I think it's Futaba. So I've got the rechargeable batteries in there. We've got the AM, crystal, got to put the crystal in. Okay, on. Okay, let's connect it up. Whoa! It's already taking off.
Is still here. I came up with something. I don't know if it's gonna work, bro.
Looks like the servos are frozen. So maybe they're seized, or maybe we're not getting any radio comms So time to diagnose, pull things apart, test components one by one, especially the servo and the radio, because we know the speed controller and the brushed motor is working.
That's what's necessary.
And we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay, 4TEC update. We've removed the throttle servo because I believe that it's seized. I can't even move it at all. But when we plug in the battery to the mechanical speed controller, we can get steering, no problem. So that's good news. So that leads me to believe that the only issue we've got is with the throttle servo. Yep, the car seems fine. Alright, let's pull apart the throttle servo and see what's gone wrong with that. Also, while touching the throttle servo, two of the side arms have cracked off and the other two are about to crack. The supports are okay. These plastic supports are okay. They go into the chassis. But the actual standoffs that are part of the servo have just turned to cheese. That's not good. We might have to replace the whole servo. But luckily servos are not too expensive these days. Alright, just a quick update with the Traxxas 4TEC with the throttle servo. We sprayed some WD-40 at the top of the servo motor and let that drip into the brushed motor. We also put some WD-40 into the bottom of the brushed motor and let that get into the bearing there. We turn our radio on and what we did was we manually jiggled the first gear and then it started moving. And because we don't have all the gears on, it's just going to keep spinning continuously now. If we had all the gears on, then this pentiometer or whatever you call it would get to full lock and it would stop. So that's it. We saved the throttle servo, brought it back from the dead. The brushed motor either was seized or it's very rusty. But will it be reliable? That's hard to say. I'd say it'll be fine. But based on some other servos that have been seized, the brushed motor could look like complete crap and you wouldn't want to use it. But in this case, it's just an old electric, it should be fine. Okay, 4TEC update. We've reconditioned the servo with some WD-40. We're testing the Traxxas AM radio transmitter and receiver, and just quickly show you the radio over there. Okay, so let's turn the wheels, yep, and let's test this throttle. Okay, so everything's good. Now this throttle, the plastic is all cracked, the little arms have cracked off on both sides. Went to put the screws back in, but they're just spinning continuously. All the plastic is cracked on the inside. So there's no point buying another case for such a small servo. It's probably only 2 or 3 kilo. We'll just go and replace this with a 5 kilo servo. Won't cost too much. Traxxas 4TEC, NiCad battery, brushed motor. All I did was change the throttle servo. Traxxas 4TEC, so we put a receiver crystal in and we put a battery in, but notice this little battery door here is not really designed for a normal NIMH or NiCad. Must be designed for Traxxas batteries only. Traxxas like to do everything super weird, and if you copy them, then they sue you. But they don't copy you. But if they do, that's okay. Alright, time to do a test. So we've plugged some 8 batteries into the transmitter. Now we don't have an aerial, but that's okay. And then we've put a crystal in the back. Okay. Now what we've done is, yeah, that's it, go hard. And we put a crystal in the receiver. We put a battery in. It's not really the right battery, but it's close enough. And you going hard? Good boy. Just don't want to get my finger stuck in one of these belts. And I think we'll go outside and do a test now. Having fun? 1 year old, and he's managed to put the batteries into the transmitter correctly. It's unbelievable. This thing's brand new. All I had to do was change the throttle servo. Plastic telescopic drive shafts. .20 turn brush motor. Adjustable body posts. Belt drive. Just missing the foam bumper. Beautiful rims. It's a BBS style. Nice looking heatsink over the resistor. Not sure what pitch these gears are. Looks too fine to be 48. Probably got a gear diff in the front and the rear. Really nice car, just needs a clean.